So, to summarize what you just said is a great point. It's yes, the recession could be reducing the quit rate, but it's not increasing engagement. It's
No.
actually decreasing it, if anything. So, Ted, Gallup just came out with a global study, and it is Voice of the World's Employees Report.
That's right.
So, what are these employees telling us around the world?
A lot. A lot. What I'm going to do is let me actually bring this up real quick here, and let's talk about this.
All right, what do we got here?
This report covered 122,000 employees around the world. So
That's a pretty good sample size.
It's a pretty good sample size. And I think we need to know that this came from the end of April through just previous March. And by the way, this is a non-contact center report. It may include contact center employees, but they'd be aggregated into the data. One of the things that I really enjoyed about this was the percentage of employees thriving at work reached a record high in 2022. So you see this 23 down here. That's the percent of people who responded they are engaged. That is the highest they have seen. We're on a trend.
That's really surprising. I would not have expected that to be the result.
By the way, we will post the link to this so that people tuning in can grab the actual report and look for themselves, because there are like 96 pages to this report. So we're only highlighting the biggest portions of it. One thing I do want to point out here is on the left, you'll see thriving at work is 23%, highest engaged they've had. However, there's 59% who are quiet quitting, not engaged. And
now that I expected to see.
18% who are loud quitting, meaning they are actively telling people they are disengaged in the workplace.
Yeah. So now you went from, hey, I have a problem with quiet quitters, people who aren't, they're just going to do the minimum and not go above and beyond and not go in the hustle culture, all of that. Well, now you have people who are, I'm staying here. I ain't leaving. But I'm not happy. And I'm going to let people know about it.
I'm going to let you know. But I found this one the most interesting. Okay. What's the engagement by work location? And so here we have 21%.
The work at home effect.
Yep, work at home is 30% if you're exclusively remote, but 21% if you're entirely on site, and a 24% engagement for people who are hybrid, showing that not a lot of difference between hybrid and on-site. And those lag behind engagement for remote employees.
Yeah. Once again, interesting research that coincides with what we found. But to a lot of people, they think that's counterintuitive. Like bringing people in, I'm going to bring people into the center so they're engaged. Because they're so disengaged when they're out on their own and who knows what they're doing. But that is management's perspective.
That's right.
The employee
this is the voice of the employee.
And employee perspective is, as what we heard in, because we got a lot of comments that we got to analyze in our research from around the globe, and people were saying, "Hey, I kind of like working at home, not only because I don't have the commute and all the other benefits, but I like working with the customer without somebody looking over my shoulder. I get to be myself more and all of that." But one of the biggest problems I have, that's not a huge problem, but is the support from management or team leads or whomever when I'm remotely with the customer. I find that a little, because my focus is I want to help the customer. That's where my meaningful work comes from. But they already knew how to deal with the customer virtually, so their job didn't really change. It was management's job that changed in, oh my gosh, these people aren't in front of me anymore. How do I do this?
I think that is interesting in combination then with this one, which is the stress level. Now you have the highest stress is for those people who are remote and hybrid.
So, what do you
And
think?
hybrid being higher than remote. Hybrid is higher than remote.
Yeah. So they're more engaged at home, but they're more stressed at home.
That's right. And then finally, we have 51% said they are actively watching or seeking a new job. So watching meaning they're looking for a new job or actively seeking a new job. Though it seems the less likely to leave are those people working on site. So hybrid, again, doesn't seem to be the be-all, end-all, because in each of these numbers, they don't surpass on site, but most of the time they're actually doing worse in some of these measures than exclusively remote.
Yeah. Well, and you wonder, there's a couple things that we discovered in the contact center industry, which might be a little different once again. But if hybrid is treated as, hey, all of a sudden, you've been at home and now you have to come into the office 2 days a week. You're like, that doesn't seem great if I really wanted to be at home. Yeah. So if it's dictated, that's one thing. And we notice if you're offered options and flexibility of, do you want, 100% in the center? Do you want this many days a week or this many days a week in the center or 100% virtual? Well, completely different because people feel like, hey, it was flexible. So having that choice is one of the things. And then it's just the other thing is, if I'm a contact center agent and you're going to ask me to do the same exact work that I do at home in a center, why?
Well, why am I making that trip?
Yeah, there's got to be some other reason for it. So, we've seen hybrid work the best is when those times are, okay, this is the time you get face-to-face, not only with your supervisor, but your coworkers, and we're going to do some social things and maybe some training is a little bit better sometimes in person. And then also you get to meet the leaders again. You kind of lost contact. What's going on with the company? And I feel out of touch from the leadership and even these other departments. So if I can feel like, hey, that time is used, for those type of things, instead of me coming in and taking calls that I got to take from home. Yeah. It makes sense once again, when you look at it from the employee's point of view.
And if anybody thought that a changing economy downward was going to impact people's intent to quit, they could be right.
Yeah.
However, it's also impacting I can't leave, but I want to leave. And therefore I'm going to quietly and or loudly quit.
So, to summarize what you just said is a great point. It's, yes, the recession could be reducing the quit rate, but it's not increasing engagement. It's actually decreasing it, if anything.
That's right. So that's really, again, bigger report available. People want to hit the link in our description. They're welcome to, of course, go download it themselves. And if you find something else that we didn't spot that's interesting, feel free to post some comments back. Yeah. Tell us what you think. But remember, subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and continue to pass this along so that we can share information with everyone about the great Contact Center Challenge.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody. See you next time. Take care.